Volume is the most important indicator. Trading at its core is nothing but supply and demand. So it doesn't matter what any other indicator, what any amount of price action is telling you if the volume isn't there to back up the move. In today's video, we are going to build out some labels to add even more functionality to this volume indicator in Thinkorswim to improve our trading together. Hit the like button if you're excited, and let's go. We're going to build two of the easier labels right now, step by step, just to help you all get an idea of how we do this. And then I'll build a couple more of the more complicated ones and just show you so that we don't get too lost in the code on this. But I'm going to come into my edit studies and strategies modal. I'm going to hit create underneath studies. I'm going to call this volume labels, and then we are going to dive right into it. So I'm going to get rid of this. We don't need to plot anything. And I'm just going to type in add label. Now, the first parameter to the add label function is condition. When do you want this label to show? For our instance, we want the labels to always show. So our condition is yes. And the first condition that we're going to build, the label that we want furthest to the left, because the code is just going to read this top down and then list them left to right, whichever comes first. So the one we want furthest to the left is total volume. Just what's the volume on the day? So I'm going to go ahead and type in total volume as a text, colon space close text, and then I'm going to truncate the volume method, but I'm going to add the parameter there. It is the second parameter, so I have to define it. I have to type in period equals aggregation period dot day. When I say I have to define it, that means that, see how I didn't define add label condition equals yes? If it's the parameter that the code is expecting, you don't have to define it. But since the first parameter of volume, I believe, is symbol, you would need to do, if I did this, if I did Mara, comma, aggregation period dot day, it would be happy with this. But since I'm not doing that, I have to type aggregation period dot day. Anyway, none of you care. I also want the color, which is the third parameter of add label. And since it's the third parameter and I'm laying it out that way, I don't have to type color equals. I can just lay it out. See, we're coming full circle now. Color dot white. Close it with a semicolon. I messed something up. Oh, I'm sure somebody was yelling at me in chat already that I misspelled aggregation. Listen, I can't type, okay? Aggregation period dot day. Volume period equals aggregation period dot day. Close that parameter tray. There you go. That is how you do that. Typing is hard. Typing and talking at the same time is hard. If we go ahead and check this, you should now see total volume on the day, 91.98 million shares. If I go to the daily chart of Mara, you should see that the volume on this day was 98.998 million shares. It is perfectly in line. That is great. Now, I want to see the volume of the last bar. This one's actually even easier to make. Let's just go ahead, copy, and actually I'm going to add a comment. I should have done this at first. Good coding practices. Comment. Current bar volume. This is how I like to do my comments. You don't have to do them like that. But for this, we don't need this period. We just need what the current volume is, so we can lay it out like that. And for now, I'm going to color this green, but I am going to change that color. It'll be one of the more complex things we come back and talk about. So let me add a comment here. Total volume, just for good coding practices sakes. Let me hit apply. So now you will see, oops, I forgot to change the label. This is current, let's call it cur bar volume so that we're not typing in too much here. We don't have too long. So there, you now have the total volume on the day and the volume on the current bar. Now I'm going to build out a couple of more labels and use a couple more complex calculations that can add some functionality to this. I'm going to go do that myself so that this isn't a whole technical coding video, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the code. Don't worry. If you want this, I'll show you the code, but I'm going to go make them myself now. While I'm working on the other codes, let me bring up this. If you're looking at me right now like I have 3 heads, Trey, what the hell are you talking about? What does any of this code mean? I don't know how to code. I don't care to learn how to code. I don't have time to learn how to code. I have no idea what any of this means. I understand, and that's why I made all of my codes available to download on my website, daytradingstrategies.net. You can click into here and just with a couple of clicks easily get any of my strategies, any of my scanners. This that I'm coding right now will be uploaded to the website right after I publish this video under studies, and there's a ton of studies in there for you to download. So if you'd rather just download this study or anything else that I have custom coded, daytradingstrategies.net, first link in the description down below. We'll see you over there. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that interlude. Hopefully you check out the website. I've added 2 new labels, but a ton of extra functionality. You now have the previous bar volume and the 50-day average volume. But if we jump into the code, you will see a lot longer code. So let me walk you through from top to bottom what I have changed here. Now, you have multiple inputs here: show total volume, show current bar, blase, blase. And you will now see where I was setting my conditions to just yes, to always show. I have set them to these inputs, which are set to yes. But since they are set as inputs, that means from the cog of the study, you can access them directly from here. So if you don't want to see the total volume or the current bar volume, you can turn them off and look at how they go away. So now the user of this study, whoever downloads and uses this study, or if you just code it yourself, you can come in and easily choose which labels you want to see when you want to see them, right? And then I also have another input for days average. So if you notice, we're looking at the 50-day average right now. Once again, as an input, I can now come in here and change this. If I make it the 25, we are now looking at the 25-day average. And that, of course, will remain if we jump from the 5-minute to the daily, 25-day average being 100 million shares. So that's another input change that we have there. Let me reset it back to 50 just so I can have it how I like it. And now let's jump into the rest of it. So previous bar volume, show previous bar. If that's on yes, then show it. Of course it is, so we show it. Previous bar, easy. Just the volume from last bar. That's what open close brackets means. Now, if we jump up, the point I added show previous bar volume is because I wanted this. I wanted the show current bar volume, so the volume of the current bar, to change colors if it's above or below the previous bar. I want you to know whether you're getting a candle over candle on this volume bar or not. If you are getting increasing volume in this bar, that means something. That's important. Getting increasing volume means a lot to a lot of different trade strategies. So now, if your current volume is greater than your previous volume, it is green. But I've already done some searching around and looked at Netflix. Netflix's current bar is 201 shares. This is a little weird. I'm making this actually at 11 o'clock at night. The market's very closed, so weird numbers right now, but it still works. The current volume on 201 shares, previous volume was 600. You will now notice this label turn red. So you will very easily be able to see quickly there whether you are getting increasing volume or not, and you can use that to hopefully improve some of your trade strategies. Just easier, right? You can easily look at this now and see what's going on, and that should help improve. You miss less trades, more setups are happening, you have a better vision on what's going on in the market, rather than having to, while you're analyzing your charts, also hop down and analyze every little thing the volume's doing. The point of this label is that while you're looking at your screens, you get a larger breadth of what's going on, right? So, and then obviously the last one, show days average volume. This is where we're pulling in the days average. So this input variable plus D average. So we're actually changing the name of the label too with this. And then you have your average of your daily volume. And then the second parameter in this average function is length, right? Length of average, which of course we've set to this input. So it will change the average depending on what you're doing. Now, I thought about doing the same sort of color change thing for total volume. I thought it would be a little bit annoying, but if you want to, this would be good coding practice for you. If you want total volume to go green, if it's above the average volume, then it would be good coding practice for you. All you need to do is move this up, right? Move this if statement up, copy it and paste it where this color is. And then also you need to move up this method down here, why it's true. Hey, we're over this 50-day moving average here, right? So you would need to move this into the if statement, and then you would need to move the if statement up. Not complex, but good practice out there for any beginner coders that get their hands on this code or write this code and want to practice a little bit of movement themselves. So that's the indicator. That's our volume labels. Hopefully you take this. Hopefully you make use of it. Once again, hopefully it just helps give you a larger breadth of what's going on in the stock market while you're looking at it. For those of you guys that made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate you. I always say you guys are the ones that have the best chance to make it. You guys are the ones taking your trading education seriously. And I like to help give you a little extra push. So if you use discount code END at checkout on my website right now, you're going to get access to this strategy and all of my other strategies for only $15. So if while you've been watching this video, I know you've been thinking, is this worth the money? Do I want to pay for this? It's cool, but is it that cool? Now you get it for only $15 if you use discount code END in the link in the top of the description down below. With all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign out of this video, but I'm going to link you all to a video here in which I talk about a custom strategy that I've made within Thinkorswim that takes advantage of news breakouts.